Hey y'all. So it's me, Miss Traynor-Grimes. I have a new toy that I'm trying to play with right now, and that's it's a Chrome extension called Screencastify. So I'm going to be kind of in your lower right-hand corner while we're doing this, and I'm going to be walking you through a couple of things. First of all, how to add to your science journal, because there were a lot of people that have been emailing me. Not sure where to get the information or how to copy and paste. And I actually found an easier way to copy and paste. So come along and join me. Hopefully you guys are able to see this. And I'm looking right now at my science journal. This is the one that I have been keeping up with, that I'm expecting you guys to keep up with as well. So let me just show you really quick a little bit what this looks like. We have our table of contents right here. Forces in motion is where we ended off. That's number 8. That's what we're working on right now. FAIR model vocabulary blank, our FAIR model explanation, and then, of course, the blank one, I should say. Don't worry about this one just yet. Don't worry about this one just yet. The only one that you should be worrying about right now are your vocabulary slides and your Einstein's quote of the week. Your Einstein's quote of the week should be going right here in your Einstein quote of the week slide. So every Friday, you're going to open up your virtual notebook. You're going to drop that quote in here, and then in your bell ringer document, you're going to reflect. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me what it makes you think of. What do you think he meant by it, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to drop that into your bell ringer document and click submit or turn in. All right. So a couple weeks ago, we started off, and you should have a title screen that says A Nature of Force, an Introduction to Newton's Laws. And I walked you through at that time how to put in your word and how to put in your definition. What you're doing now, and what you should have done at that point, and if you haven't done it, do it now, is you're adding a definition in your own words, an image, and using it in a sentence. So I'm going to scroll down now, and you'll see that the last thing we did, the last word that you should have had was Newton's third law. So if you had Newton's third law, great, you're on point and exactly where you need to be. If you haven't gotten that, you need to go ahead and click one of my old videos that walked you through how to do it. All right, so now we're going to come back to the top here, and we're going to click our FAIR model vocabulary sample. Underneath that, you should have a blank. If it's not blank, you can take out the information in here and make it your new blank, okay? Because some of you guys used your blank and filled it in already. So if that was you, what you're going to do is go here. You're going to double click here, erase it. Erase these, erase everything, and make that your blank. All right, so now I went ahead and made my blank. I'm going to right-click this, and I'm going to go to Duplicate Slide. And now I have this slide. So I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to bring it all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to drop it at the bottom. Okay, now here it is. Now I've double-clicked this, and I changed it to force. And now I'm going to make 7 copies of this particular slide. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to right click, or in your Chromebook, I've heard you double tap it. I'm going to go to duplicate slide, and I'm going to duplicate that slide a bunch of times. All right, duplicate slide, duplicate slide. I'm going to do that a total of 7 times. I kind of lost track, so I don't know, 5, 6, 7. All right, I think that's enough. And if I have too many, that's okay. If I don't have enough, that's okay. I can always go back and duplicate it again. All right, now, where am I going to find my new vocabulary? Well, you're supposed to be going to Stemscopes. So you're going to go to Stemscopes, and you're going to go first to your picture vocabulary. This was the assignment from last Monday. So I'm going to click my picture vocabulary. And it's easy if you just keep both of these slides open. You can kind of alternate back and forth. So I told you a couple of things while I walked you through this assignment on Monday, and that was to go here and open up your virtual notebook and just type this in. But I found that if you scroll down, it says you could download a PDF. What? Click that and get that PDF downloaded. And now from this PDF, I could just copy and paste directly into my virtual notebook. So acceleration. Acceleration is a change in velocity. It's when you speed up, slow down, change directions. All of that is considered acceleration, which is weird, I know, because usually if I'm like driving a car and I say, accelerate, most people think speed up. But scientifically speaking, acceleration means any change in motion, speeding up, slowing down, or changing direction. So what I could do here is I can copy, see that? Highlight it, right click, and go to copy, and then I can drop it right into my virtual notebook. So my first word, is acceleration. And I could go right here, right click, paste without formatting. Bam, that one's done. Let's go to our next word. I'm going to go back to that PDF right here. And the next word is direction. So direction, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this, is a straight path that an object can move along. So what direction am I going? I could say north, east, south, west, but I could also say things like to the left or down. So any direction that I go in, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I keep that in mind. It's up, down, left, right, southwest, north. It could be your cardinal directions or any indication of the way, that straight line that an object is moving. Now I'm going to go ahead and do those vocabulary words with all the ones that I have here. Now force I already have. Do I have to do it again? No. But I like this picture, so maybe I'll use that picture. Frame of reference. Here's one that I'm going to need. So frame of reference is basically what I'm comparing myself to. So for instance, am I moving right now? Not really. I'm not moving if my frame of reference was like the chair that I'm sitting in. But am I moving in relationship to the sun? Yeah, I'm zooming through the cosmos, right? So your frame of reference is basically what you're comparing yourself to. Oops. There you go. Sorry about that. All right. So this comes in handy when you're looking at your science questions when it says like, Mary was sitting on the riverside and a boat is coming along. Is the boat moving in relation to Mary? Yes, because even though Mary's staying still, the boat is moving, right? There's a person inside the boat. The person is walking through the boat. And let's say they're walking at a rate of 1 meter per second. Is that person in motion? Yes. What's its speed? 1 meter per second in relation to the boat. But let's say the boat is moving at 10 meters per second. Now I'm looking out. Here's the person on the boat walking at 1 meter per second, and the boat is also moving at that 10 meters per second. So in relation to Mary, if Mary was the frame of reference sitting on the riverside watching it go by, that person is actually moving at 11 meters per second, 10 meters per second, because the boat's moving at that rate. And then Mary, in relation to the boat, is moving an additional 1 meter per second for a total of 11 meters per second. And that's the same thing like if I'm riding a bike, am I moving in relation to the bike? If my bike is my frame of reference? No. But if I'm riding by on my bike, zoom, and someone's sitting at the corner, am I moving in relation to them? If they're my frame of reference, yes. We'll talk more about frame of reference as we move forward. And I'm not going to walk through all of these vocabulary words with you, but I'm going to show you one more just to do this one more time. I'm going to go back to my picture vocabulary. There's my frame of reference. I just did that one. And here's mass. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my definition. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come right back over to my virtual notebook. I'm going to type mass. And just to make sure I have it in my head, I'm going to make sure I understand what mass means. And mass is a measure of how much matter is present in a substance. Okay, once you get all of your vocabulary words in there from your picture vocabulary, there's other things you're supposed to be adding as well. And this is from Google Classroom. And I'm not going to go to Google Classroom on the Castify because I don't want any passwords kind of out there for everybody. So I remember, though, that the words that I'm using from our Google Classroom to add were both speed and velocity. So I'm going to go ahead and add those. So pretend that I've done all my vocabulary for my picture vocabulary. And now I'm down here and I'm going to add the word speed. Oops. And I'm going to add the word velocity. Now, where do I get those? Well, once I finish my picture vocabulary for changes in force here, I'm going to go back because that was Monday or Tuesday's assignment. Now I'm going to go to that assignment, and that's the Stemscopedia reading assignment. And speed, ooh, I read this, all about motion and force and ping pinball and hitting things back and forth. And I came down here and I found my definition for speed. And it's right here. So right from my Stemscope assignment, I'm going to go here. I'm going to right click. And my little page in page is a copy. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to my virtual notebook. Whoops, I'm going to make sure I put it in the right place. Speed. And it says, speed is the rate of change in position with respect to time. So, and we talked a lot about that, and I put a video up on YouTube about how to calculate time, or excuse me, how to calculate speed based on distance and time. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my Stemscope, and I'm going to know that velocity was my second word, and read. And I was reading, and I answered these questions, and that was really great, and I kept going until I found the word velocity, which is all the way down here. Okay, and remember I told you stop at the soccer balls. All right, now we're going to move into Friday's assignment, which began with velocity. So velocity is simply speed in a given direction. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click that. And I'm going to drop that into my virtual notebook. All right. Oops, threw that right in the middle. All right, there you go. Speed and direction. All right. I call these my one-take wonders, by the way, when I videotape something and put it up for you guys. I don't edit it. I just throw it up just how I came, first time. All right. So now we're pretty good. We finished our vocabulary. We're ready for our test on Tuesday about our applied vocabulary. Are we done with our vocabulary? What do we still have to do? Before we move on to the rest of our Stemscope assignment, what do we have to do? Well, once you added your vocabulary, now we have to fill out those other 3 boxes in our Freire models. So for instance, mass says a measure of how much matter is in a substance. What does that mean? Well, in my own words, I might say how much stuff something has. And remember, our own definition is for us to remember and us to understand. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to use it in a sentence now, and maybe I'll say the more mass something has, not a very fast typer, the heavier it feels. Okay, or maybe I'll say, I have a lot of mass, or whatever. Now, my illustration or example, I'm going to show you this just on this one slide because I don't want this video to be a half an hour long. I'm going to come up here to insert, and I'm going to, you can do this a couple different ways. This is the way I like to do it. I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to go search the web, and I'm going to say mass science, because sometimes if you don't qualify it with the word science, you'll get random things like mass, like, I don't know. Okay, so I don't like that. I don't like that. It could be a mass of something, but oh, I kind of like the scale. Let's see. Let's see. I kind of, oh, that's kind of cool. I like that one. Ooh, this is interesting. Ion evaporation model. All right. So let's see. Should have worn my glasses for this. All right. Let's say, oh, I don't know. There's a lot. All right. I'm going to say, I'm going to go with not any of these. All right. Mass of an object. I'm going to go with this one because this talks about how much mass something has. So I'm going to go ahead and double click that, or whichever one I decide to use. And I'm going to go ahead and shrink that down. So that's going to be my picture, the picture that I'm going to have that helps me remember, oh, what this is saying is the more mass an object has, the more force it's going to have and the more gravitational pull it's going to have. All right. So you're going to do that for every picture that you have. Now, if you wanted to go to your Stemscopes and do a screen grab or a print screen, you can do that and just shrink that picture down from, let's say, acceleration on your Stemscope and put that in your vocabulary if you want to do that. All right, so I'm going to make them all look like I did with here. See, I have my pictures on each one that I found that I liked. All right, and that helps me understand. Okay, now I am going to go to the next part of my Stemscopedia. And I think what I'm going to do is stop right here And then I'm going to pick up again with another screencast to show you how to do this next activity. All right. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in a few.